All right, tonight's town board meeting will come to order, and Jennifer can do roll call.
Yep. Carl Walton.
Here.
Arlen Cox.
Here.
Steve Jernigan.
I am here.
And Lori Fitzgerald. Here. Absent Kate Clay.
Thank you. So we're going to jump to item 4, and this is the paperwork for the Bureau of Public Lands loans. Now, is this just a formality?
Yes.
Because we approved the project.
You did actually approved the loan. The loan paperwork comes with, it's kind of hard to see. It comes with this seal on here. And apparently when they sent the loan paperwork that everyone has previously signed, for some reason it was missing this embossing. So we have to have someone reapprove the loan, and I'm going to have you guys sign all this new paperwork and get this all sent in.
Does it matter the case? It's not your consent.
It does not matter as long as you are here. So I talked to him. Yeah.
Okay, and it says signed 16th of August, date sent.
I'm gonna have data today's data. So once you guys approve it, I'll probably just circle it around for you guys to all sign.
Okay.
So you'll just need to have today's date. So you'll just have to have like a motion. And then once you do the motion, I think that I will actually, for the record, read the resolution. So if someone wants to make the motion and second it, then I can read the resolution and then you could vote. Is that okay?
Okay, that's fine.
And then we'll take a roll call vote too at that point.
Okay, that's fine. Just for the record, I said the wrong names. It's the Board of Commissioners of Public Lands, not the whatever I said. So just a reminder, any discussion first? And just a reminder that the project was approved, the loan was approved. This is just paperwork.
Can you give us would love to make the motion if I could have the right words.
So
and the quoted statutes.
So you are going to make a motion to approve resolution 01/2023. And so basically on agenda item 4, if you're going to just make a motion for that, where it says the resolution and then that wording, and then someone will second it, and then I will actually read the resolution for everyone.
Okay, I move that we pass resolution number 01-2023 BCPL loan for $365 financing roadwork and equipment.
And do you hear a second on that? Any discussion?
Okay.
And you want to do a roll call?
Roll call. I'm going to read it real quick and then we can do a roll call.
Okay.
The following preamble and resolutions were presented by Supervisor Kai and were read to the meeting. By provisions of section 24.66 of the Wisconsin statute, all municipalities may borrow money for such purposes in the manner prescribed. And by the provisions of chapter 24 of the Wisconsin statute, the Board of Commissioners of Public Lands is authorized to make loans from the state trust funds to municipalities for such purposes. Therefore, be it resolved that the town of Oregon and the county of Dane borrow from the trust funds of the state of Wisconsin the sum of $365,000 for the purpose of financing road construction equipment and for no other purpose. Loan is to be payable within 4 years from the 15th day of March preceding the date of the loan is made. The loan will be repaid in annual installments at the interest rate of 5.75 per annum from the date of making the loan to the 15th day of March next and thereafter annually as provided by law. Resolve further that there shall be raised and there is levied upon all taxable property within the town of Oregon in the county of Dane a direct annual tax for the purpose of paying interest and principal on the loan as they become due. Resolve further that no money obtained by the town of Oregon by such loan from the state be applied or paid out for any other purposes except financing road construction and equipment without the consent of the Board of Commissioners of Public Lands. Resolve further that in the case of the Board of Commissioners of Public Lands of Wisconsin agrees to make the loan that the chairman and the clerk of the town in the county of Dane, Wisconsin, is authorized and empowered in the name of the town to execute and deliver to the commission certificates of indebtedness in such form as required by the commission for any sum of money that may be loaned to the town pursuant to this resolution. The chairman, the clerk, and the town will perform all necessary actions to fully carry out the provisions of chapter 24 Wisconsin statutes and these resolutions. Further resolved that this preamble in this resolution and the aye and no vote to which they were adopted, recorded, and that the clerk of the town forward the certified recording along with the application for the loan to the Board of Commissioners of Public Lands of Wisconsin. Okay, so that's, we're gonna say that Jernigan did the second. And so, yes, now I would call, then if you could call for a roll vote.
Let me just open for discussion again.
Okay.
Who seconded it?
Steve did.
Steve.
Any other discussion? All right, hearing none, if we could do a roll call vote.
Okay, Walter,
Aye.
hi,
Aye.
Jernigan,
Aye.
and Fitzgerald. Aye. Perfect,
Motion carries. Thanks, Jennifer.
thank you.
All right, and we'll skip back to item number 3, discussion possible approval of the design and bidding of the town hall office and customer service window project. Ed, how are you? Please.
I'm going to just start, so I'm gonna have you start with just while you listen, if you can just fill out this information. Sign it in. And then you have to sign one more spot. I think it's on.
Got it.
Okay, thank you.
No, okay.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Slowly.
Thank you. You will.
Oh, there you go.
There's two. You want this to be good?
There's-
Oh, that's
that is
Good and
Yes, so.
want to walk us through
Okay,
the design?
I think that when I've met most of you, maybe at least that's on correspondence with you. I've been selected to help improve and modify the work areas for the admin staff for the town of Oregon. Kind of like to start off by saying, you know, a lot of people think about architects like, well, they're just fancy and they want to spend money to make stuff pretty. I've done that and I like to do that. But in this particular case, what I really look for is functionality. In other words, you know, how can the folks that do what they do for the town do it in a more efficient way? And when I was interviewing and looking at the space, it was kind of like, whoa, it was kind of like, it works, you know, people can still function, but it obviously was designed for a different era and a different type of, you know, there's like one big office and then everything else is open kind of corral wise. So I was really looking for not being able to increase the space, but how to make it a more effective space. So that's the approach that I took. I did a couple different design scenarios. One of the ideas was there is a current wall there, and so, you know, like, so it's kind of a natural, like, well, why don't we just keep that and then cram everything else in? When you're talking about a small space like this, oddly, 30 inches make a difference, you know, in how things function. So my plus, when we looked at the wall, one of the things that we're doing, regardless if the wall stayed or not, is we're actually putting some a view window between the people working here so that they can see what's going on, they can see each other, and they know if somebody's at the window, for example. So it just made sense that since we were modifying that wall already, and it was not as space efficient because it made one office big and then crammed in the so-called flex area, which might encompass 2 people at some point. And then the final office, you know, we were able to accommodate that size. So the end office and the so-called newly created office were the same size. And they both function. We met with furniture suppliers, and I think everybody feels the space works well. If we could capture that 30 inches surprisingly for that main so-called flex space. That would allow people, that would allow two people, even though it's not frequent, it would allow two people to actually work there without feeling like they were, in each other's elbow. So that was the idea. I have a larger picture, but what you have is stacked on that. So kind of illustrates a little bit. So this is the design that, based on offices being equal size, getting a printer space that everybody can use, and then also getting a work area that two people could use without, affecting each other greatly, worked pretty well. But the existing wall is right here. So you can see that what I did is I made this office smaller to get more space in between in the middle. It made sense, especially since we were going to put a window in the existing wall anyway. And we talked with some builders and they said, well, we're going to have to reroute electrical anyway. So having the wall open or new wall open before we put drywall on was pretty cost effective. So that's kind of the reason why we did what we did. One of the features that I wanted to speak about is you'll see this little bump out here, So the wall that you're seeing, of course, is the major wall here. But then what we're also going to do is have a greeting space, specifically for township business, the town business. And that would we're reusing 3 file cabinets that are higher that will but they didn't fit in the new work area. So basically what we said is we're going to bump that wall out and create kind of a bay window quote for people to stand there, see people coming, see people in front of them, and see the room. So it was like a little bit of a hallway monitor, and gets to see the whole environment. And that's bulletproof. And I wish we didn't have that kind of thing, but you never know any day. I went to the village office, and of course they have a whole wall full of it. The good news is we're not too much of that, but it gives these folks a sense of security. It keeps people from just walking in that door or a door and just saying, "Hey, how you doing? What's going on?" And that's cool. And these guys they're very hospitable, but it'll keep them functioning, and people will have to kind of do the business that we want everybody to do. So that's kind of the 2 cents of why we did what we did. And we've actually looked at furniture too. So we're looking at a couple different scenarios. One would be new pieces, getting a budget for that. And then also with the town's economics in mind, looking at if there are repurposed pieces that can actually function the same way. And we picked this particular supplier because they don't just scrub it up and throw it out on the alley. They actually do repurposing, new hinges, so we're thinking it's very possible we can save quite a bit of money by repurposed furniture. That would help a lot. So that's my story.
Any questions for Ed?
I'm just curious, the a new area right there.
Yeah.
Now that's gonna be exactly where over here?
Yeah, it's
Where the windows
essentially,
are right now?
you know where that cabinet is, right?
Yes.
Okay, so it's gonna come out to where the current cabinet is, which will be gone. So it'll not impede too much into this space.
Okay,
But
good.
it'll impede enough so that, again, we can get side view, front view, inside. So it's not gonna go out any further than that cabinet currently is, but there will be a wall now instead of cabinet. Yeah.
Gives me the visual.
Okay, yeah,
That's what I
it
always.
took me a while too, but actually, we were all kind of like. what is it?
Will you show me over here?
So we stood there, but that's the idea.
Lori, any questions?
I'm just always concerned when I come to see Stephanie and Jennifer that they have to work with their backs to the window.
Yes,
I would just hate that. And
Yeah.
I would always be, I'm sure if I worked at such, you're always being startled.
exactly.
And sometimes they're on the phone.
Yep.
You know, and so I think that anything that will give them, you know, more, it's just a comfort thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, because that is one of the things worked on. And the other thing that I didn't mention is the way we have the office is set up now, is the main work area will actually look in so that everybody will see what everybody can.
Yes.
And so if you see somebody at the window, you'll be able to see them. And so then this door will become more of a kind of a security door.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
So that's a great comment, and I saw firsthand one day when I was meeting, somebody was kind of, stopped in and it's like, okay, we're in the middle of a meeting.
right.
So I think it will create efficiency.
Yeah, and it is hard for the visitor to see that they're busy, especially Jennifer's back.
They
And
can't tell.
yeah, and they don't know that sometimes Jennifer is, or Stephanie's on they're taking a course on
Exactly,
writing or
yeah.
something like
Exactly.
that. So it's very hard.
So thank you for the comment. Thank you.
I think that's why we would like that window so that the back office can have a viewing of the entire office to be able to see when somebody's there and what's coming in, so that you can have that.
And we can look at each other too, because I
You can
can
wave.
be like, oh, like,
Yeah,
there's one when you get that or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah,
so
so-
it's hand signals.
No, it'd actually make it more efficient in terms of helping people. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the old story, if you have to get up and like, take somebody's
yeah.
over, it does take time. Interrupts us take a lot more time than we.
I think it just, when we're, yeah, we don't know, yeah, so.
All right,
That's
so
where that window.
I guess the question of really the three of you, I guess. So we talked a little about safety, talked a little bit about efficiency in the space, the layout of the space. How about storage? How about, I guess, any other things you think are improvements that are right off the bat because of the remodel?
The placement of the IT stuff being outside of the office is one really main thing, so storage for that, right now it's on the floor underneath the desk, so
No, I know.
you know what I mean.
Yep.
That was a huge one. There will be some of that like countertop and storage through the printer, which would, it'll be more effective storage than what we have now, which is kind of like that corner where, and then it's still on the ground. Just, it's kind of a nuisance. So that's like a storage. One of the storage things that really makes sense. As far as the storage, it's still gonna be lacking for like the previous storage, because that would require some sort of an additional space. So we'll have to work on it, and we already are obviously working on other solutions for that. Stuff that we don't really need to get to day to day. But as far as the stuff that we do, it will be.
Yeah, I think we're going into it with a lot of like planning, like for the building inspector in particular for that flex space where he needs like basically 3 years of files at his fingertip, which,
Until
projects.
for
Yeah.
assessors are asking throughout the year for those files.
So I think what we're really trying to do is trying to get that stuff to be in like, everything would have its space, not spread over, like not in this office and the back room in this space, like all of that stuff to sort of be in one space so he can have access to it, we have access to it. And that's really what we're looking at, trying to do in that flex space. So that I think will help with storage just in the sense that it will be in one area. I think then what we're gonna try to do is work toward getting everything, what used to be the old building inspector's closet over here, then that's going to become our election closet where all of our equipment is stored. So then we're gonna start to migrate all of our election stuff to sort of being in that, and we need to get a lock on that door, which that should happen soon. By getting the building inspector stuff out of there, that's just really gonna help just the flow of having that election stuff sort of reside over there. And so, yeah, that's kind of, I think, what we're trying to get at, trying to address those needs in particular. And then I think eventually somewhere down the road, we're gonna have to talk about the storage room that's here and maybe possibly making that into like an area that the guys could just have, that they could set up their computers that would be outside of that garage area that they have.
So that's not included in this plan.
Well, it's on here.
It's, we could put it in as so-called agenda. I think we should at least look at a number. So basically, what's that storage? We found out from the garage side, fellows going to the bathroom, there's a little hallway that goes into a little utility space. It's kind of a storage space now too. So we're thinking if we put a door here, for example, then they can have their own office from either side. And actually, we did meet with the fellows that were quite interested in that. It's going to be a separate bid item. But it will be at least, and we looked at it, this seemed like a bunch of stuff. Ooh, and the guys were saying anything's better than what we got. So they were kind of excited to have a space, for paperwork and just to kind of stay out of the mess. So they were liking that potential.
Well, we did talk about that project, that the Public Works creating an office space. We talked about that prior to this specific project.
Yep.
But it's already been in discussions. We just thought it was gonna have to be a separate project at first, so
Yeah,
it's
I think we can.
nice that it's in the same design.
I think we could saddlebag it, but keep it as a separate bid item.
So basically what that means is there's a door that's going into the storage room in this back office. There's an old existing door that comes into the hall from when the remodel was put on. So it would be basically shutting that door off and having that door come back out into the hall. So then the guys could have a door that goes into the garage, and then that
Whenever that
space,
is.
yes, I mean, whenever that is, but then that space, it's not super big, but then that space could become where they would have their office. Again, not super big, and then we probably have the files and things that are in there, we'd either have to put them up high, or we'd have to start to find a space to put those boxes. But the goal would be is to just have them get out of their papers and their computers sitting out in the garage itself, but we just give them a little space that would come.
Right, and so, and
That would be
for
inside.
Lori and Steve, that's a huge issue for them, is for Abel and Ryan, is they're just sitting, doing their paperwork out in the garage. But Brian,
And can the computers in the garage?
everything in the garage.
That's not okay. That's gotta be. And the temperature quality control, garage door open in the winter.
Oh, I fully agree.
Right,
That's,
right.
security alone, it's just,
You got all the positives.
yes,
That this project is solving. Now, one thing that is, you got a storage room in here that has some long-term storage, and some of it is the election stuff that will be going into the
Yes,
election secure room.
yes,
How much of, and you've got active storage now being planned in the flex space and your offices and the Public Works office.
yeah.
What is left in there that needs to be accommodated elsewhere, as I assume this is long-term historical records or?
We would have to go through, we'd have to go through some of that because there's a whole retention schedule on what we need to keep and what we don't need to keep. So I think, there's gonna be once we kind of clean it out, then I think we're gonna probably start back over to see how many banker boxes that looks like once we kind of get to what needs to be permanent storage. So what we're gonna try to figure out is we're gonna probably have to have like two different types of kind of storage. One is like a permanent storage that can then maybe go out, and maybe one that's more of a temporary storage. What that looks like, I'm not really quite sure, but that's what we're gonna have to do, something where it's like, this box can be thrown away in 7 years. This box, that's what we do for election stuff, but we just need another one more for just town business. It's never really been happening before, so we kind of have to create that sort of system. It sort of just got put in a box and you just kept it for eternity. And, you know, we're keeping up, we just got rid of a lot of election stuff, preparing for 2024. So to answer your question, Arlen, I don't know how many boxes we're gonna have to store once we start to clean out that space and really whittle it down to what's permanent and what's,
And that would be an ongoing
it would be
issue
ongoing.
that we don't know how much of it's gonna become digitized.
Right.
Yeah,
A lot of it
Papers
already
disappear.
is becoming that way, especially in the last few years, so there are a lot of. Things like, you know, even your agendas and your minutes, that was all printed out and saved. We don't really have to do that anymore because it is saved electronically, so.
so it'll be ongoing. You're right.
It'll get lesser and lesser and lesser.
A great opportunity for house cleaning.
Yeah.
Well, we talked a little bit about external storage, or either next door or somewhere. And some discussion too about record retention dates and realistically, maybe not being able to go back in time with these existing records because they're not really sorted.
Well, I noticed there were some big books that had somebody paid their 75 cents for the dog license.
Classic.
Wow.
Might become more historical, so once we start to kind of unpack that
Right
stuff,
now.
we might reach out to the historical society and see
Yeah,
if there's
I would-
anything that they
yeah,
would want.
yeah.
We have some options there with technology.
Yeah,
We could call that residency if he still has the dog.
but I mean, like. Records, no, that's not historical, so let's see what's in there and we could probably dump. Most of a banker box that's all in there right now as,
Yeah.
you know.
But something of import that the changing time, I like the security that this offers. And opportunity to have our clerks be able to close the door, still see what's going on and respond as needed. And get some work done. This is an abysmal example of inefficiency
Yeah.
as it sets right now and insecurity.
I have another question, and I'm not visual at all, and, you know, I'm not. But I'm wondering about with going to the open space. There are times when you might want privacy, or, you know, like now, someone could be on the phone talking to a resident about a problem or something. And if somebody comes to the window, they can overhear it, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's,
Yes.
Yes.
yeah, so how, can you help me understand how this plan, because I know you've talked about doors and moving doors and
Yeah,
how there could be a space where you could sit and close it off and have a conversation?
That would be in our offices.
it would be within the office.
Each office can be closed
Yep.
off.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, that's me
Sit.
not reading plans.
Yeah. I sit there with a
You know,
closed window and.
For
then
that
there-
reason.
So you'd
And a
actually have
closed door.
two closed
Yeah.
doors.
See this
Yeah.
one?
Arlen has difficulty reading plans too, so.
Oh. Yeah, I know about doors, I know that's the door and it shows swing, I'm not advanced.
No,
I know that.
so that, you know, if there was a conversation even with a cell phone or something, it could go
Mhm.
into a closed door, so.
So you can, and you can easily kind of switch into that if you needed. to.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah,
Like you wouldn't have to walk out and disrupt someone else, eject someone from their
Yeah.
office, so
Yeah.
you could have
Right.
a
Yeah,
closed door.
Yeah.
I mean, I've worked in situations like, so,
Yeah, and,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
even not with these guys, but, you know, even just coworkers and
yeah.
disruption and gossip and all that.
It's a lot of here because if a resident comes in or a supervisor comes in,
Yeah,
most of the time it's for one, like one of us can take care of it.
yeah.
Mhm.
But but the other person, AKA me,
Yeah.
is usually the person who has to answer the phone while that's being taken
Yeah.
care of, while that whole conversation is still happening right by my head.
Right, right.
So that is difficult, and that way we would just be like, oh, I can take this,
Yeah,
hold on a second,
yeah.
and then let the person at the window or whoever still
Mhm.
have their.
Yeah, I think that's a very important thing.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
also.
Yeah, you've seen it.
It's
so.
very problematic.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it is.
Yeah.
Would even just the safety glass muffle sound a little bit?
It'll have some impact because it's thicker and it's anytime you have something heavy and thick, it helps a great deal.
Mhm.
We still have a port, you know.
Right.
But I think that would be minimized quite a bit, you know, from certainly much better than what's currently here even now.
Right.
So, yeah.
Do you remind me when this building was built? Was it the 80s, 90s,
Years ago.
30 years ago?
30.
That was when the addition.
Yeah. that-
From that. Right,
Okay,
The addition was 30 years ago.
okay.
and before that. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
It could have been another 30, 50 years before that.
in the original building. And that was another thing I'd say about the Stephanie having the office door is, you know, we deal with quite a bit of checks, especially during tax collection time. And having that door and having that ability to shut it and lock it really provides some security that we're not having right now. And, you know, if you ever do anything like an audit, that's kind of things that they talk about is, you know, where you're keeping checks, where, how you're, you know, and
They're highly focused on it with elections right now, like.
yeah,
very
yeah,
highly focused on it.
yeah. So that gives us, you know, an opportunity to have these things locked and then still have an open space where people can work that are coming in and out of the space that are working, so.
We talked for a couple minutes just about the second page.
Yeah.
And what I believe you're showing here is if the wall did not move, then what elements of the plan would be lost?
Well, so there's just a couple things, I mean, a few things. First things first is, even if the wall stayed where it is, we'd be modifying it quite a bit with the glass and the electrical. So we'd have to strip the wall regardless, and all that would be left would be the studs. That's part of it, but the idea is these folks kind of have equal purpose. And the way it's set up now is, you know, an open office, and then this one was kind of the kingpin office, but we've designed offices that everybody's happy with for less space. And then what happens then is it allows us to open up the central area for higher purpose, higher use, and makes like the building inspector, which you know needs time and needs a place to really look at drawings. And we've even got a desk that'll raise up to help with that. But the idea is if we, this area, what we're calling the oh, I don't know what, the flex space. You kind of see how much bigger that is, just the 2 feet difference. So then you could have a couple of people, if somebody, now I know it's relatively infrequent, but if it did happen where there were 2 people, they wouldn't like be next to each other bumping. So this is the new wall. This is where the current wall is, right? So I think, you know, I mean, if space wasn't so, but you know, it's so vital, but we've almost got every inch kind of counts here. So and especially because we were successful in making the office smaller, but still private. We thought, oh, nice opportunity to not have a so-called big daddy office in a small office, you know. Big mama in this case, but.
I would say that flex space, one of the things is with the election next year, we're gonna have, you know, election workers coming in and we'd like to be able to have the building inspector have a spot. The election workers, you know, they're not gonna be in here all the time. They're gonna definitely in 24, we're gonna see them. And that would give everyone plenty of space in that flex space, which is why we'd like it to be,
And ballot security.
yeah, like
It's not out here.
I would think that you would use it too. Just for, you know, all of a sudden you're dealing with big pieces of paper or something spread out.
Well, exactly, like, that's one reason we put the printer adjacent to that, because, you know, we can kind of use this twice. You know, for things you were printing, you could collate them. Then there's another piece over here for the equipment, or for the paper.
We'll have a countertop on it.
You know, have a countertop, and that's where we're doing the ladder for the communication. Good questions.
Any other questions? And what we would be voting on here is moving the plan, moving the design plan to bids.
So I sent out a draft of what a design bid would look like, which is kind of based upon what I found on the internet from other people that did bids. We talked to a few construction companies, and they said like a 4-week bid is about what they would like. So the minimum is 2 weeks to meet law, but to giving them 4 bids to have enough time to get subs in here and to get, you know, others in here. So Ed would have to just do a little bit more. Once you guys pick a design that you like, he has to do a little bit more to make it to where that would be, yeah, construction and design plan that we would then be able to then have out for bid 4 weeks. So I guess that would be anticipating either another meeting or doing that at the October board meeting. So.
I think we were tentatively talking about the 21st, 26th, the
Yeah.
Tuesday of October, September.
That was 4 weeks past when we would get in the
Yes.
newspaper, right? That's why we were.
Yeah. so
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
Was that 27th? I got 27th on here, but
For September.
I had 26 scratched off.
September.
Yeah, I got 26 for some reason. For my ADD.
This would be for a special meeting to open bids.
Oh, okay, so we have a joint meeting on 26.
Oh, yeah.
26.
The
yeah, the
joint,
26th is the joint, no, that's the 19th. 19th is the joint meeting for the plan commission.
Mhm.
Yep. So then
Following.
well, the
it's
20
like, wait a second, we have some fire and EMS
Brooklyn,
meetings in here.
Brooklyn
Yeah,
joint meeting is that,
is the 26th.
Discussed it. So you-
is at nighttime.
Well, I said the 26th one, the joint one scratched out and moved to the 27th. Is that-
Oh,
Is it?
Yeah,
No.
they did send us something saying.
That's moved to the 27th.
that's right.
Oh, because, well, so the village
Yeah,
meeting I've got on the 27th.
Correct.
So that would be a big conflict.
So.
I'll have to look into
Clarify, the
that.
26th is the joint
Well,
board
yeah,
meeting
yeah,
and
and the
plan commission
27th,
hearing.
so we cannot do the 26th or the 27th at night. Those 2 nights are out.
Right.
They're both your joint meetings?
Yes,
Holy
Brooklyn's on the
moly.
26th, and then, but we don't know, they're both might be on the same night, which that happened one time before, and it's kind of a nightmare, because we tried to end one and it didn't work out at all.
But
So,
you could do to the week after.
so we could do a Thursday daytime meeting or afternoon on Thursday, the 28th. Are you out of town? Steve?
I'm out of town.
The whole week?
I'll be in California that
That
week.
whole week, okay. So what about doing the first week of October?
Personally, that's good for, I'll be back the 2nd of, we come back the 2nd of October, so anytime after the 2nd is, how about the 3rd?
It's a Tuesday, that's why. it's-
There's some bad things coming up at the 4th and 5th, so be selfish, the 3rd would be of October, would be perfect for me.
Let me look at
Do we
this.
wanna go earlier rather than later, though?
We could go earlier than that.
Okay, yeah, that would be fine too.
No, I mean the week ahead, the same week as those joint meetings, but not those days.
Do you wanna do Monday night, the 25th? Or Monday, or do you wanna do during the day? But he's out of town the whole week though. When do you?
Oh.
I believe we leave the 26th. So I think the
So
25th is
Monday,
a possibility.
Monday, the 25th.
Let me make certain of that.
I think either during the day or,
Monday
I mean, I guess it depends on everybody's schedules. but
night.
Let me, mind if I make a quick phone call? Go for it. I know somebody that knows the calendar better.
So. just to- We are talking about the joint meeting on the 26th, that's on fire. The 19th is the
Plan commission.
plan commission,
Okay, thank you.
and then the 27th is the village.
September.
Okay, so. The 19th for plan.
Great, thank
commission and
you.
board.
And then, but this is a fire department.
Which one?
26th is
26th is Brooklyn joint. 27th is village.
that we're.
Well, I don't know that everybody has to attend.
Okay, so, okay.
Usually we need a quorum usually,
Yeah,
and
we
we
need a quorum.
failed to have that for some of these.
I don't know what Belleville's is, so if someone can reach, okay, I tried,
Find out.
okay.
I'm okay with the 25th, we leave the 26th.
Okay, so let's, if everyone looks at their calendar for September 25th to opening bids. Now, when we do road bids, typically we just open them, read them out loud, and then we
Maybe
decide,
ask questions if
Yeah.
you needed to.
and then we decide at like later. So we can handle it that way. If you want to do that, so we would open the construction bids on the 25th, so either you open them and you read them and then you decide later. So how would you like to, is that the
I
way you
think
want
like
to handle
that,
it?
I think we'll need to discuss the dollar amount.
Okay, so opening on the 25th, then really doesn't, it would just take a quorum, but if we're not making any decisions, what time would you guys like to do on the 25th of September for opening the bids?
Early as possible.
Really, that's like, late morning,
9 o'clock, 10 o'clock.
that's not late morning, that is early morning.
I'm on my bike, I'm on my bike at 7, so.
No, I'm just kidding. So,
No,
no,
it doesn't matter. You guys, whatever,
11,
what's ever good for everybody else. I'm known to be a really early person, so 11's. I'll go with whatever people.
11,
11 a.m. on
Okay.
Monday, the 25th. And that would just be for opening bids. Then do we want to plan to decide on the bids? There would be a week in between. The next board meeting is October 10th. Or do you want to decide on the bids the next, how would you like to handle that?
well,
Yes.
can I answer a question with the question?
Yeah.
How did your timeline work out with an extra week thrown in there?
We didn't throw an extra week.
No, I mean, but if we
We
are,
threw extra 2 weeks in there.
Okay.
Well, yeah, from the 2
I'm
weeks.
very aggressive, that I had. So I think it would just be a construction thing, once you pick the bid, the construction company. The only thing I guess I would say is, never having gone through this before, will there be questions of the bids? I don't know about that, so. Do you want to plan another meeting in the first week of October to just come together to ask questions about the bids before you make a decision? I don't
I
know.
think, well, personal preference, and I'm open to a discussion on this completely, but I feel like with the timeline we're trying to match up to, it would be good not to have an extra week after the September 25th meeting. It'd be good to get together the week after that, first week of October. And then if people have questions, and people want to pin down the ARPA fund, the available funds and the ARPA dollars. I'd rather not have an extra week.
Okay, so then we would be looking at scheduling a meeting the first week of October. And we know that Steve doesn't get back until the 2nd, so it would be starting the 3rd.
The
the
third.
Tuesday the 3rd.
The
Yeah.
3rd, yeah.
Oh, the 3rd works good.
The 3rd would be good.
So that would be Tuesday, August 3rd. Is there a date that everyone?
October.
Thursday, October 3rd, is there a time?
It would have to be an evening.
Tuesday,
Oh,
3rd in the evening. Because that would
in
work
the
with,
evening,
yeah, wait,
Yeah.
again, Mark, or do you want it 5, 6?
I'm fine with 6.
6, okay. So we'll do
Yes.
Tuesday, October 3rd at 6 p.m. So for you, Arlen? You raising your hand?
6 o'clock.
So it'd be same time as this one, October 3rd.
Yes.
And that I will probably notice as a decision of the bids that we opened,
Mhm.
but if that would be, I guess, pending questions, and stuff like that, but I'll just probably put it like that. Okay, and then, of course, the regular town board meeting then would be on October 10th. Tuesday at 6 p.m. Okay. We have our timeline now.
Okay, it's a special meeting. October 3rd,
And September 20th.
6 p.m. on the 3rd, 11 a.m. on the 25th.
it's the time frame of getting this done before the primary is all the more important to put the spurs to it.
We will start processing ballots. And basically, probably by January 20th. For the
For
primary.
April.
Mhm. That's
Or for
that
February.
early,
February.
January,
But for the February.
or the February primary, yes, it's, because we have to have them out in a specific day within a specific time period. Now, that's something that would work. Where we can kind of manage doing other things if we're still got this. You know? But we also start taking in-person. Absentees. 2 weeks prior. To the election.
So before we need to worry about any of these dates at all, we need to do something about this plan. Are you looking for a motion to
Well, yeah,
approve the,
but let's not forget about.
so you're looking for a motion to approve the plan, for opening bids on, or for going to bid on the plan.
I move we approve the plans, the plan with the moved wall,
If you,
page 1 here, prepared by Mr. Linville. Proceed with utmost haste to get the construction and bid plan documents done, finished.
we're here a second.
Second,
We need a date on the, for, do we need to have the date for when we're sending these out to bid? Right.
It would be,
So I would date the bid. Just have a calendar here. If we're going to be opening the bids on September 25th at 11 a.m. Your choice is to have the bids due here Monday, September 25th at 10:59 is an option. Or it doesn't really matter because we'll be getting sealed bids anyway, so we're not gonna be unsealing them till 11 a.m. on Tuesday, or I'm sorry, on Monday, September 25th. So is that what you're asking, when the bids have to be here?
I'm saying, we're authorizing the plan,
Yes,
and I'm saying they will be, the plans will be ready to be sent out to bid by
did you just say Friday before, Jennifer? What did you
yeah.
say?
I
This-
wanted
this
them to
upcoming
be-
Friday?
I wanted them to be ready by Friday so that I could post the bid.
September 1st.
Oh,
No,
no, August
the back.
25th.
August 6th.
And then that way the bid would be noticed for the last week of September. I'm sorry, I'm so
Of
sorry.
August.
The last week of August and the first 3 weeks of September. That would give us the 4 weeks that they requested, the construction companies requested that we have the bid out. So
Well,
that would be, Ed would having those plans be done by Friday.
This-
Let's have it on Friday, what, but the
Well,
28th.
yeah.
28th,
Yeah,
we have
right.
ask it.
I'd say give them a weekend to finish the.
Yeah. The 28th would be fine.
For Monday?
Yeah.
Monday, 28th, okay.
Can the architect speak?
Yeah.
Yeah, we should ask. Yeah. Dates, that's based on the architect.
I think the 28th is fine,
Okay,
but Friday, there's no way.
okay.
And
No,
the only comment I would have is,
That's just this Friday, yeah.
yeah, there's a little, so it's not this Friday, but it's next Monday.
Yes.
Okay, the 28th.
So I
Okay.
have
That's the
nothing to do
motion.
the weekend, so I'll just draw.
Oh, really?
You
The
didn't have
last
plans
meeting in August, there's nothing to do?
Yeah, I have nothing.
That's good to know.
Okay, is that like, I mean, otherwise, do we want to work with different dates?
I can live with that.
You're okay, okay.
Friday would know.
Okay, Monday, the 28th,
It,
okay.
it's a fair bit more information, would be about 3 or 4 pages. But, you know, I can do it.
Sounds good.
I don't know if we voted on that then.
No, we didn't.
I made the motion
Okay.
for.
Who seconded?
I seconded it.
Okay,
Okay, so any more discussion on that? And should we do roll call on this? Do you
Sure,
think?
let's
Let's do
do
a
it.
roll call on this too.
Carl Walzer,
Aye.
Arlen Kai,
Aye.
Steve Jernigan,
Aye.
and Lori Fitzgerald. Aye. Okay,
And motion passes.
okay, so this is gonna be bid paperwork, or bids will be, sent out on Monday, August 28th. We will be meeting, so the one thing I want to mention is I'd like to start talking about budget stuff. And so that September 25th and then October 3rd kind of work in nicely to talking about budget stuff, and then along with the ARPA funds.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, maybe when it just becomes closer to that dates, we can just talk about how long you guys might want to stay, and we can break it up and just do a little bit at each of those, or stay a little bit longer at one or the other, so.
Yeah. That sounds great.
Okay. We'll
Good.
talk about that on Tuesday, the September 12th. I have it on the agenda to set some budget dates, so, but now that we already have those dates, we can sort of see if we
Work
want
around
to
them
add,
or add them.
yeah, add to the agenda for that.
Are there any other comments, questions? Anything like that?
No. Very impressed.
And without an election, we will adjourn this meeting. Ed, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Ed.
You're welcome.
It's a nice plans.
These are the bullet points that I had.
Oh, right.
To see.
Yep, great.
I think me, you got a copy of them, but.
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
But yeah, but thank you.
It's closed at 6:51 by unanimous consent, correct?
Whatever time.
We use.